Happy Pi Day 2021. In this video I wanted to see how many digits of pi I could print on a piece of paper. So I'm going to go over the steps, but this isn't really a tutorial, so I may leave some things out, but if you do have any questions, drop a comment below and I'll try and help you out the best I can. So the first thing I needed to do was to get pi. So I went to rosettacode.org, and then if I click on Explore and then Tasks, I can search for pi here on the page. Actually, there's a lot of different PIs. Here we go. So I'll click on pi. And this tells how to calculate pi with many different languages. So I started out calculating it with Python, but that was going kind of slow. So I went down to the JavaScript one, which is right here. And I wanted to use the Spigot algorithm. And the Spigot algorithm just dumps out numbers one at a time. So what I can do is I can copy this. And I have my terminal open here on my Mac, and this code would work on Windows or Linux also, except for what I'm about to say right now. So I need to put this in a file. On a Mac you can type pbpaste, and that will take the pasteboard, and then I can redirect that into a file called pi.js. If you're on Windows or Linux, you would want to just open a text file and paste it in there. So now I can type node space pi.js, and this will just start dumping out digits of pi. But I want those in a file. So what I did there is I did greater than pi.txt. I'll just call this pi2 because I already have a pi.txt. And that will start dumping those into a file. So as I got further into this, I was able to figure out how many I needed. Well, I needed probably 300,000 to 400,000 digits. So I'll go to another terminal here, go to my desktop, and I can type wc space -c and then pi2.txt, and this will tell me how many digits I have. So I have 30,000, here I have 39. I can just keep updating this. And I'd just wait and I'd go check every once in a while to see how many digits I had. And once I had enough, then I can hit Control-C to exit out of here. Now I've already done this, so I'll remove this pi2.txt, and I have a file called pi.txt, so if I do wc space -c space pi.txt, we can see I have just under 400,000 digits of pi here. So I had digits of pi, now I needed an application to put this data into to format it for printing. So I chose to use Affinity Designer, so I'll open that up. I'll open up a new document. Oh, my document dialog's over to the right here. So I want to choose print, letter size, and then for margins, I did some looking up, and I think the margins were 0.17, but I'm not sure how accurate those are. And I'm not doing this for scientific purposes, I'm doing it for a YouTube video, so things aren't going to be perfect, but I'll set that up, I'll hit create. So then I took a subset of these digits. So let me open up pi here, and I'll just select a portion of these. So I went over to my text box on the left, and I dragged in the whole document and within the margins, and then I pasted in pi. I pasted in a portion of pi, I should say. So then I selected all of this, and then what I did is I went through the fonts, and I used my arrow keys and I went down through them to find out which ones were the shortest on here. So you can see at the bottom of this page, you can see the bottom of the numbers, and I go to the next font and you can't. So I went through these fonts and I put a little heart next to the ones that were the shortest, so I could choose from those. And the one I chose ended up being Dewan Duluth. You can see there's a lot of spacing in here, and also the font size here is 12. So next what I did is I created a test page where I said test 1, test 2, test 3 up to like 9. And then I set the font size on those from 1 to 9 and printed that out so I could see which ones were legible on my printer. And I found out that 3 was the most legible of the smallest. If I went to 2 and 1, it was hard to read. So I could go to my font here and change that to 3 point, and I can zoom in on my document here. So now I have the smallest font size I can get to, but there's a lot of spacing in here. So I selected that and I went over to my line spacing and I changed that to percentage height, and I changed that to 50%. Actually, I think I had to type that in. There we go. So now you can see that the numbers are butted up against each other. So once I got that to work, then I pasted in all of pi. So I'll open up that file. There we go. So if we were to zoom in here, we should be able to see digits of pi. And it kind of goes off the bottom here too. So next I just printed that out. So let's take a look at the printout. Okay, so here we are, digits of pi printed out. Let's see if I can focus in a little bit on some of this. There we go. It's kind of hard to see. So I have another tool here, my microscope. So let's take a look at it with the microscope. So here's the first row here. We have 3.141592653589589. 7932384. So you can see we have pi written out here. Now one thing I wasn't able to easily fix here is you can see that there's a lot of space here between the 2 and the 3, and that could have potentially been condensed, and then more digits would be able to fit on here. So this is a proportional font, so it should be compressing space as opposed to a monospaced font, which would take up the same space for each digit, but it's not super optimized for that. And while this is legible, I mean, it's not perfect. I think every digit on here, though, you can read. Like in the middle of my screen right now, it says 5324. That 5 doesn't look perfect, but you can tell it's a 5. It doesn't really match any other digit. Go somewhere else. Like in the middle of the screen here, you can see that's a 2. Doesn't look perfect, but it works. So if we get down towards the bottom here, you can see it did cut off the bottom line. So if I wanted to make this perfect, I could go here and find the line that ends in 612 and then delete everything after that. So I'll go back into Affinity Designer. I can see this line that says 612, so I'll select the line below it, or actually I'll select 612. I'm using my cursor keys here to go down. It's going kind of slow. That's no surprise. It's kind of hard to work with it like this. But what I want to do is I want to find out how many digits I actually printed on here. So I think I'm just going to open up the text file. That'll open up in TextEdit. I'll double check that ending number again. And it was 94612. Okay, so I found that number. It's kind of hard to find my mouse here. So I'm going to select everything after that, which is quite a bit. I'll delete it. And now everything I have remaining, let me see if I have a decimal in here. I don't remember. I do have a decimal. So I'll select all. I'll copy this. Then I can go to my terminal and I can say pb paste pipe wc space -c. So if I take out the decimal, then I calculated pi to 357,408 spaces. So I have a page with that many, a little over 350,000 digits of pi on a single sheet of paper. Now this is one side. Yeah, you could print on both sides and then you could have double that amount, which would be about 700,000. So I thought that was a fun little experiment to see how many digits of pi I could print on a piece of paper. Part of me is curious if there's something I could optimize here to up the amount, like if I could get to 500,000 digits of pi or something, that would be kind of interesting. If you have any suggestions, drop them below. I don't know that I'll cover them now, but maybe a year from now I'll revisit this, who knows. So that's all I have for this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.